The spotlight you.
Okay, that'd be great, Bob. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to FJMC International's pre-Purim event. It's wonderful to have you here. We like to do these webinars from time to time to provide resources for the men in our community to help make the holidays a little bit more meaningful. We have a wonderful opportunity here with the guests and the holiday that we have coming up with Purim just next week. I want to thank Bob Watts for making all this happen. You know, if we're on Zoom, we're also live streaming on social media. And Bob took the time to make sure we know how to do this and make sure we were capable of doing this. So I want to thank Bob from the bottom of my heart for making sure that we were able to broadcast out in so many different places. He's done so before, and he continues to do so for us successfully. So Bob is really a tremendous force for us, and I really appreciate it. Same thing with Lisa. Without Lisa, we wouldn't really be able to make this happen because Lisa is our extra pair of hands, and she communicates all of our messages out, make sure that everyone knows what's going on. So I thank Lisa tremendously as well for being a support person to make all this happen. I also want to thank my friend Ashanti Branch, who's here to be our guest educator for this special HMV style pre-Purim event. And I'm going to get to Ashanti in a minute. Let me just explain why we're here for everyone a little bit more detail. As we know, Purim offers a lesson that men learn at an early age, which is that you can survive by becoming a character. We put on masks to manage risk, projecting competence when we feel unsure, toughness when we're scared, humor when we're hurting, control when we're lonely, because the world often rewards the performance more than the person. Purim's masks aren't just cute, though. They're a spiritual mirror. The whole story turns on hiddenness, double identities, and what's going on beneath the surface until revelation becomes the turning point. That's the overlap, you see. Both Purim and masculinity deal in concealment and strategy, but Purim nudges us to ask what the mask is protecting, what it's costing, and who we become when we wear it too long. The holiday doesn't shame the disguise, it uses it, then invites a braver move, not just to unmask for a night, but to practice telling the truth or to be our authentic selves in safe community so that the mask does not become a tool we can choose, nor an armor we can't take off. So we're here to talk about something that's really valuable for all of our lives and has incredible spiritual import. And I want to thank my friend Ashanti Branch, who I met a couple years ago in the process of doing men's work and my own personal life. Here's a quick bio about Ashanti, and then we're going to watch a little bit of video of his work, where it all got started. So Ashanti Branch is a recipient of the 2023 U.S. Surgeon General's Medallion, a four-time TEDx speaker, podcaster, and Fulbright Fellow. His work with youth as an emotional locksmith has been featured on CNN's This Is Life with Lisa Ling and on The Kelly Clarkson Show. He is the founder and executive director of the Ever Forward Club, a nonprofit organization dedicated to eliminating the student dropout rate through youth mentorship. He is also the creator of the award-winning #Million Mask movement with 75,000 participants worldwide. And we're going to take a look at that website and what the activity is all about because that's what we're here to participate in, the Million Mask movement. And now what I'd like to do is show you a clip, the first 2.5 minutes from a documentary called The Mask You Live In, which introduces us to Ashanti's work. So if you give me a second just to bring that up and share that on your screens, I'll do that.
This is my high school. I graduated from this high school. I never wanted to be a teacher. I was going to be an engineer and make a lot of money. I became a teacher because I saw that my community was hurting without good teachers. And I think one of the biggest challenges was that, like, I've been through it, right? And so I want them to be able to know that they can move forward and they can succeed and they can do whatever they choose to do in life, but it's going to take hard work. If you go 2 blocks away, you'll find prostitution. There's a lot of gang activity in the area. I consider it like a war zone, right? Our kids get up every morning. They have to prepare their mask for how they're gonna walk to get to school. So if that mask requires me not to let people see any of my vulnerabilities, that means I'm gonna have to put on a very tough mask. And when I get here, hopefully I can take the mask off so I can focus on learning rather than continually wearing this hard shell. A lot of our students don't know how to take the mask off. So I want you to take one of these masks, take the mask. Here's what we're gonna do. On this mask, you're gonna draw what represents you. What are some things that you hold up every day when you walk to school that you let people see? And then on the back, I want you to write, what is it you don't let people see? Like, what's behind the mask? All right?
Oh yeah, yeah. What else?
So what I want you to do is I want you to take your mask and I want you to ball it up. I want you to hit someone across the circle with your mask. Don't leave your seat. Don't leave your seat. You can't leave your seat. Open it up. Okay. So who wants to reveal what's on the mask they open? Read it out loud, just the front.
Funny, caring, and happy.
Okay. What's behind the mask?
Sadness and fear.
Sadness and fear.
Goofy, kindness, happiness, silliness, smile, and fun.
Okay. On the back?
Anger.
Anger. Okay.
Okay, so that's just 2.5 minutes. It's a 7-minute video. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want to introduce you to my friend Ashanti Branch. Ashanti, welcome to FJMC International. It's a wonderful
Thank
to have you here.
thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Glad to be here with you.
Absolutely. A little bit of background. There was a wonderful app that was developed during the pandemic called Clubhouse. And Clubhouse was just a great way for people to spend their time yapping during the pandemic. And so I went on and I had some hot air to get out and I started yapping. In the process of yapping, I got to know Ashanti. And I actually knew Ashanti from before that after seeing a video on men's work and seeing the work that he was doing. He was brought up in the documentary. He was a guest speaker in the documentary, and so that's what jogged my memory when I saw him on the Clubhouse app. And through my yapping, I got to be yapping with him, and so it was great to connect with him over that. And then we did a couple podcast episodes together, and it was wonderful just being able to get to know Ashanti and learn his process, not only as a fellow educator, but as a man, just trying to figure my life out in this crazy world and knowing that there's another man out there who's also trying to figure out and created a wonderful tool for that, I think, not only for young people, but for adults as well. And I think that's probably one of my biggest questions, Ashanti. Um, you talk about this lesson as being one you design particularly for your students, and you talk about the context at the beginning of the documentary, right? Being in a rough neighborhood where there's prostitution and crime, right? And the kids are all African American in the video, and everything, in the community is maybe very different than the one that FJMC knows, right? But it's fair. Is it fair to say though that this exercise in, talking about masks, right, and unmasking ourselves is one that applies to men of all kinds?
Yeah, the mask started there in that classroom. I mean, I when they asked us to come film, I said, "Well, you should go to our other club because our other club at the other school, they're more open.
Mm,
Like these young men don't open up. Like I had tried all my best activities, my best magic as an educator. When you're not doing just the mathematics or the science where there's a right and wrong answer, when you're asking people to open up and reveal, it was like I've tried everything I could try. And what I saw with these young men was that they would rather a fight break out in the room than talk about feelings because in that community, feelings are dangerous. If you're too weak, if you're soft, if you're not a real man, there's all the pressure that goes along with what society tells you that means. Now, wherever you grow up, you had rules around what it meant to be accepted, respected, or always inspected as a real man, right? So they're always testing you. They're always testing you. They're always questioning your manhood. And maybe you had a community where no one cared, and that would be great, I imagine. I didn't live that life. I didn't know that life. And so what I watch these young men do with each other is always question each other's manhood. And that meant, did you get that phone number? Did you get that girl? What did you do on the weekend? Like everything was filtered through a filter of, are you man enough? And I think that oftentimes the pressure to always have to continue doing that is exhausting for a lot of young men. And I think they get, but what happens, what we see, and definitely how the mask came about is, anytime they would see me in a workshop, we were in you could call it advisory class. I was like their advisory teacher. And anytime they felt we were about to start talking about feelings, somebody's gonna make fun of somebody's shoes, somebody's gonna make a joke about somebody's mom, and then the class erupts because they said he's about to
Right.
talk about feelings, and they would avoid it like it was the plague. And I was like, okay. And so when they asked us to come film, I said, well, look, you should go to our other club because those young men they've had a lot more practice with their emotional selves. And they're like, well, we want to see where you're going to be. I said, well, if you want to see resistance, that's what you should come here. You want to see resistance
Right.
because I can't get them to open up. And they said, well,
Right.
we'll observe that. And so what I thought about is, what if I don't have them talk about it? What if I just have them write it? What if I just don't talk about it? I didn't tell them what was going to happen. I didn't preempt it with nothing. I just said, take this piece of paper, do this thing. I wasn't going to give any hints about what we were doing. And literally, when that thing happened, when you saw them start opening those papers up, like in real time, watching it work was shocking to me because I had never seen them in a solemn space of like listening to each other and hearing the words. Because what they saw in those papers was that, wait, that's not mine, but that could have been mine. Wait, that one's not mine, but that one could have been mine too.
Right.
And it was a moment of just like, I didn't know what to do. I had another activity under my desk. I had just been like, well, if this one don't work, we'll try something else. I was prepared, but I didn't know it was going to work. And when it worked, it was a moment of like, okay. And what I think they experienced was that it's sometimes exhausting carrying around all that some people call it baggage, some people call it luggage, some people call it trauma. You call it lots of things, but what is the things that we carry that no one ever knows? And all it takes is sometimes somebody to bump into us, cut us off in traffic, look at us wrong, step on our foot, take the last bag of chips in the grocery store, and we lose our minds, not because of that one thing, but because of the 20, 30, 50 other things we just pretended didn't matter until the pot just got to the pressure level that it exploded.
You're talking about teenage kids, and I'm hearing my own son in that as well, just in terms of, the things he wants to project in terms of toughness. It's upsetting that there are times, I feel like I should be intervening because he's facing anti-Semitism, and yet he doesn't want me to report it to the school because he wants to come off as if he can handle it himself or as if it's not bothering him, right? It started on the football team, and so he's really excited to be part of the football team and he doesn't want anything to really interfere with that. And it's so important sometimes, I think, to young men in particular to have that mask, right? Because it is a passport, right? It gets them through from one place to the next. And I think it's also true for adult men as well. And that's what I'm really curious to know from you is, do you find that this exercise is also really helpful with adult men in that they also too have to wear masks as a way of, using it as a passport to get from one place to the next?
Yeah, absolutely. And I imagine, everyone here has the access to the chat?
Yeah, they
Are
do.
there-
Yeah.
So if you have access to the chat, if you could just think of how you're feeling right now between 1 and 10, like if 1 is the worst and 10 is the best, just give it a number. It could be a holistic number. You can
Go
give it
ahead. Put
a
that in the chat, friends. However you're feeling.
1 is the worst, 10 is the best. And if you want to give it a holistic, or you can give it a physically, emotionally, but if you give it a number. Now, what I saw on my screen, if everyone saw the same thing, that we saw the first number that popped in. Now, the first number that pops in, depending on how people put their number in, if they look at the numbers before they put their own number in, the numbers could come in on a different standard deviation plus or minus of that first number. right? And so my second question to you is that the real number? If that's the real number, then good. Um, if you looked at the first number and you said, well, I don't want to go too low past the first number, and I don't want to go too high past the first number, so I put my number in a range of that number. I got a decimal, nice math person, 7.13.
7.5.
Um,
Yeah.
as you think about like where we are in this space, where your comfort level is of how I'm really doing, am I hopefully tomorrow I'm doing that same way as well? Like where do we get to like be our full selves? And hopefully if this is that space, excellent. You got a space. But maybe if you think about this as a different question, what is your go-to answer when someone asks you how you're doing? You have a go-to answer when someone you walk down the hall or if at work or school or in the pickup line wherever you're at. Somebody say, "Hey, how you doing? Good morning. How you doing? Good afternoon. How you doing?" Like, do you have a go-to answer? You're great. I see
I
great.
got some
All good.
okays, right?
It's all
Yeah.
good.
I say I'm fine
I'm
or I'm
fine.
tired.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah.
And imagine that part. Like, as people start thinking about the answer they give on your go-to answer. So we got good, fine, great, okay, busy. Yep. And so the second question to like invite people to think about is, have you ever said good, it's all good, great, fine, all good? Um, maybe, but that really wasn't how you were doing. Has anybody
Right.
ever done that? Have you ever said, "Oh, yeah, I'm good," but you actually really weren't good? You ever said, "I'm great," but I really wasn't great. I'm fine, but you really weren't fine. And somebody says, "Yes, absolutely." I normally would say fine, but recently I say a version um, of I say which version do you want? Oh, good. There you go. You invite the person to ask them, you want the real stuff or you want the easy answer so you can keep moving, right?
Mitch Ross says in a masks down environment, the answer is sometimes craptastic.
And that's what we need. We need to know where and what environment do I have access to. So the question for the folks is, if you've ever said you were good and you weren't, or fine and you weren't, why? Why, when someone asks you how you're doing, did you not answer it completely, fully, truthfully? And so someone says right there, depends on who the person is, right? Because maybe I it would depend what I'm going to tell them. I'm going to answer how the answer is, right? Um, I didn't think they really cared about the question. Like, right? Sometimes we think the question is more of a greeting. They just add it on to hi. It
Right.
just sounds good to ask someone how they're doing, right? But are they really asking, "Hi, how you doing? Hey, how you doing?" We
Do
could
they
be
have the
already.
intent behind it? Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Maybe, Norm, have you ever like been in a conversation with somebody? You say, "Hey, how you doing?" And then you say, "Fine, good. How are you?" And they say, "Oh, I'm good. How are you?" And then you realize that you've asked it again because you
Yeah.
didn't hear the first answer because you technically wasn't really asking like it's almost a time that we say it in ways that doesn't. It's reflexive like that. It's reflexive, like shaking the hand that's offered. Hey, here we go.
Well, and you know that if you really do care, you have to really insist on someone because they'll give you a blanket, just masked answer. And you have to say, no, 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 really, how are you? How's it going? Right? You have to look them in the eye and try to penetrate it in order to get past it and get something, deeper.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's what we describe as a mask.
Like somewhere between spine and bottom half shoulder blade.
So you imagine if you recognize that there in those answers, when we say I'm good, I'm not good, maybe always, I'm not fine, we having to like gauge what people can handle of our truth, of our story, of how we're doing. We call that in our work the mask.
Right.
That's the work we do. We don't think people do it to deceive someone. We're just like, they don't have time to hear my stuff. They don't really care what I'm going through. They didn't really mean it when they asked. So what we end up doing is we put on the mask, not even knowing we're putting on the mask metaphorically. We put on the image that people need to hear, they want to hear, they can handle. So we keep the interaction frictionless.
Right.
And I think that that's what's happening not only around our own friend groups sometimes, it happens with our kids and our parents. It happens with parents and parents who have kids who have parents too, you know? Like sometimes I'll check in with my mom, "How you doing?" She said, "I'm fine." And I find out a week later from my sister she was in the hospital. I'm like, why she didn't tell me? I'm the
Right.
oldest. How dare she not
Wants to
tell
be
me?
strong for you.
She's trying to like not make me worry.
Right.
And I'm asking her because I care, but ultimately, like those kind of things that happen is not because people want to necessarily hurt you, but they sometimes don't want to burden you. They think that to tell you how they're really doing is a burden for you. And I think that oftentimes we just need the more permission. Like, oh, no, hey, no, really, how you doing? And then they're like, oh, you actually really asking, or you really want to know? And I think that's what we're trying to say around the mask is that do we have a place where we can take it off? Someone said, when you wear the mask long enough, it's significantly more work to take it off than to put it on. It's like, oh, wait, are you really asking? Like, because sometimes you don't even know that you've done something out of what is really going on because you're just following a pattern. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes people are upset because they know that the question they're getting asked isn't sincere. It's meant to be dismissed. Nobody really wants to hear it. And Mitch's whole point reminds me of that book we probably all read, The Knight Who Wears Rusty Armor, or The Knight in Rusty Armor, right? That
Mm.
idea that he keeps his mask on so long it becomes, what's the word? Stuck to his body, glued to
Yeah.
his body.
Yeah. There's
Hold on, I just want to say, David Singer asks, is any of this different for men than women? What do you think, Ashanti?
well, in my experience, and definitely I see it with young people, with adults. I think, and definitely I would say what I've seen starting with young people is we give a lot more permission for girls to show feelings. Society does, and I
Right.
think that it's almost expected.
Right.
It's almost expected that they when they have a feeling they're going to talk about it. They're going to get with their friends. They're going to talk about it. They're going to talk about it. And I think young men definitely depending on community. I'm definitely generalizing here because I only can talk about what I've seen and what I've seen in big picture is that it's okay for a woman to cry in many societies
Right.
for a boy or a man, it's almost seen as something is wrong with you. Like, what is going on with you? And so, what we see on the school level, and I know some of that training starts in school. If you have a young man who walks into the office, let's say there's a girl who walks in crying, the front office staff will be like on their knees next to that girl, like, what's going on? They got tissues, they got all kind of stuff. They're trying to figure out what's going on with this girl. And I've seen the same thing happen when a little boy comes in that office and they're like, what's wrong with you? Like almost
Mm.
as if that emotion is not even welcome in that
Right.
space. And
Right.
I've had to talk to my front office staff when I was an administrator, like, hey, I heard this from the back of I'm in the back of my office. I can't even see what's going on, but I hear it. I'm like, why didn't anybody go check on him?
Yeah.
I'm eventually going to come out and say something, but what I saw often happening is even just subtle things. His emotion wasn't even welcome in that space. And I think because maybe we're trained to do it that way. Maybe we're trained that, hey, boys don't cry. I mean,
Right.
that came from somewhere. It's a saying,
Right.
right? Where did it come from? Right? Don't cry like a little girl, we say to little boys. So I think that we often compare them, genderize them, but we often don't give them permission to have the human emotions that all of us should have. So I think that the question, that's a long answer, but just saying, I think it's different in definitely depending on the community and the society where the
Mayor
permission
says
is.
there's a translation tax in explaining to someone how things are, and I don't have the energy to explain. Yeah,
Translation
he's
tax.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's powerful. Yeah.
Thanks,
I agree
Mayor.
with it.
Thank you very much. So, why don't we do this? Why don't we get into the activity? I put the link in the chat box. It's kind of up there, so I'll put it in there again for everyone. This is a link to Ashanti's mask page. It used to be just paper, and you used to just have to print it out. It's totally 21st century. It's awesome. So if you go to the link and you click on, it'll bring you up to, and I'll do it here, and I'll show everyone. Um,
Yep. And you can just take it. We'll take it. The instructions will be on that first screen when you go to create your own, draw your mask, the green
Right.
button
So
right there.
create a mass, join the movement. You click on that green one and
Yep.
see he's got it totally set up here. Um, there you go. And you can just,
You can draw.
draw with the arrow and everything like that. You can
You can
erase
change the color.
easily.
You can change the color. So
Right.
the first step, if you are able to get there, and if for some reason you're not able to get there, you can just take out a piece of paper. But if you can do it on the digital, it'll be really beautiful. They're anonymous, so there's no name attached to this. Um, and you draw the mask in the space using your mouse. And then in the bottom, there's two questions. For the front of the mask, what are the qualities and characteristics of yourself that you gladly let others see? And once you type those words in, they will show themselves on the screen there. And if you want to move the words, you can actually move them around. If you have a drawing that you want to, move them around, you can just grab the word and move it. Um, and then the question for the back of the mask is what are the qualities and characteristics of yourself that you don't let others see? You don't usually let others see. Okay. So three steps. I'll give you maybe give you like 2, 3 minutes to go ahead and work on that. And then when you come back here in the chat, just say I'm done. Oh, when you hit submit, so in the top right corner, you'll hit submit. It would ask you for 3 pieces of information there, and then from there you can go. So Norm, everyone's on their screen now.
Good. Was everyone capable of accessing the link? Looks like it. Okay, good.
And sometimes when we're doing this activity, we are trying to find the right answer. And if you get there, if you're feeling stuck, just maybe just know that your heart knows the answer. So if you're in your head trying to find the right answer, just maybe just drop down into your heart and just say, okay, what's the real answer here? Um, so maybe we'll give you about another 30 seconds, maybe another minute. We don't want to rush you, but also, if we gave you 30 minutes, it may take 30 minutes to think of the right thing. So we're just the quicker you just kind of let the words go. Um, you won't be able to upload a pic on that site if you wanted to create it in a separate document, Jason. You can I'll give you the email to the movement. If you wanted to send that, you can do it that way. But yeah, there's no way to upload it to that site there. But let me see here. Before club at Gmail is if you wanted to send it in that way. Thank you for asking, Jason. Great. So if in the chat, if you're finished, if you can just write done. I know we saw a couple of thumbs that are popping up on the screen, but I don't want to make sure I don't play this video without people being finished. So okay, got more folks being done. Yeah.
I just want to thank Rick Dvorsky for giving us a live feed to his whiteboard. That's very nice of him.
Yeah, well, it wasn't intentional, but so acknowledged.
So Jason, you can always go back if you wanted, and you could do it again and submit the picture with it. So if that later at a later date you wanted to do it, or grab the link and do it when you have more time. I know I was kind of rushing you a little bit, so I totally understand. You can go back in, and there's that little tool where you can change the color. You can be creative if you want. We'll love you have you do that. So it looks like about 5 folks are done. Now maybe some folks can't get to it or they'll do it later. So yeah, they'll do it later. Fantastic. Thank you. If you're done, like metaphorically even, there's like, I'm done, I'm not doing it. Just put done because we won't know anyway because they're all anonymous. So I think what we'll do is I want to make sure that when we show this video right now, most of you can see it. So I don't want to have you, I don't want to do it without you back on the Zoom screen. So give it another 30 seconds. And then we'll go from there. Great. So Norm, would you play the video that is the 100,000 masks video? The video that you're going to see is going to be masks from around the world. You'll see different ages, different backgrounds. You'll see you see men and women. What I want you to notice, just well, take in what you know. I don't know what you're going to notice. You notice what you're going to see, but this video will be some masks that you'll get to see from around the world. On the bottom, yeah, there you go. There we go. Great.
You want me to start it?
Yeah, if you zoom it in just so it can go, so it can be full screen, and then yeah, that'd be great.
Summer you'll never have until you ask. You don't know just who I am under this mask. 100,000 masks, I'm just trying to be a man. 100,000 masks, you don't know just who I am. May think you know me, you can't envision my past. You don't know just who I am under this mask. 100,000 masks, I'm just trying to be a man. 100,000 masks, you don't know just who I am. Walk 1,000 miles and I ain't never looking back. Before I take this mask off, gotta know myself in fact. I can never go too fast, I can never get off track. Leave it in the past, I can never come in last. 100,000 masks, sure I feel who I am. I'm just feeling good, yeah, I'm feeling like the man. Front and back of mask, tryna ask her who I am. Know just who I am, when you look inside this mask. Summer you'll never have, until you ask. You don't know just who I am under this mask. 100,000 masks, I'm just trying to be a man. 100,000 masks, you don't know just who I am. May think you know me, you can't envision my past. You don't know just who I am under this mask. 100,000 masks, I'm just trying to be a man. 100,000 masks, you don't know just who I am.
You can stop it there. So the question we ask folks after they've made a mask and they've seen the video or took it in, just what's coming up for you right now? I mean, what are you feeling right now? What are you noticing? What are you
You know, we've got enough people that I'm comfortable with people muting themselves and participating if they'd like.
That'd be great.
Carl?
So I think the first thing that stands out for me is that most of us are not alone. We have a face, with confidence and intelligence and kind, but we have angst and a lot of stuff deep inside that we try not to show, but it's there. And I was struck by the ages of people from like 12 or 14 years old to old and everything in between. And it seems like from this, it's pretty universal. It's none of us are alone on this.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Mitch?
Yeah, so to build on what Carl said, it's extremely powerful and emotional to see that. Simply seeing other people with the same masks and the same underlying, whether it's insecurities, fears, et cetera, is in and of itself calming. And I think that makes it even more powerful, realizing that not only are you giving people a chance to share this, you're giving people a chance to feel that healing from seeing other people with similar thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Mark? Thanks, Mitch.
One of those slides scared me. I said suicide. And I basically stopped. I lost focus after that one. I don't know what came up even after that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been to many schools because they're anonymous and they're designed that way. Um, what we tell the school is that it's an opportunity to begin having healthier conversations because what we know is that if we never asked, they wouldn't have said anything. And sadly, what we hear from over and over from parents and teachers and counselors is that we had no idea. We had no idea. We had no idea. And what I've always said to educators when I became a teacher is that, do you ask? I mean, I think people want to be asked. They don't want to. They don't. They're not maybe always going to come to you and say, "Hey, I'm thinking of this dangerous thing." But we oftentimes in schools we just focus on grades and academic performance. And so, yeah, I feel you're the same, Mark. When I first saw that mask, my heart broke, and I didn't know who it was, but all I could do is just know that I did my part that day by letting it be heard and seen, and that I never come into a school or place saying I'm here to fix anybody, and no one's broken, but I'm here to say you're not alone. I'm here to remind you that there's so much more to you than people can see. And so, yeah, thank you for that, Mark. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark. Lester?
It just seemed like there was a lot of sadness in each of the slides, and I didn't see much positivity. I mean, it's I guess it brings us to reality, really. So
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Bob? Thank you, Lester.
It's kind of a balance, though. I mean, it causes you to like dredge up things immediately, right? Like just rather it's coming from the id, kind of like not you're not reflecting on it, like and second guessing yourself by this. You just have to blast out what your immediate feelings are. I found that powerful too. Like, okay, what's right there in front of me, right? Thank you.
Thank you.
So funny how you give the right space for it, how much people will share with you, right? And how willing people really are to share if they know that they're just safe and how wanting they are too. It's so fascinating, how, when we do these HMV things, you ask the right question and some people just kind of spill because they've been holding it in for so long and they haven't had anyone to really share it with. Um, and what a relief Purim can be, in terms of one day out of the year where you get to like wear that inner self on the outside. It all begs the question of how will I be received, right? How will my most authentic self be received? Even if it's a little flamboyant, right? Or, and that doesn't jive with the toughness of the culture that I'm in, right? Or is it that I'm more in, that I'm depressive in thought and the joyful people that I'm around won't welcome that because it brings them down, right? How will I be accepted is a major question. And when you get to a point of you don't think you can be accepted at all, and the mask is just how you deal with the world and what everyone sees, there's got to be some trouble there.
Yeah, I think as you were saying the words, asking the right question, that's what Rick wrote in the chat. Asking the right question in the appropriate setting. What are you worried about? Like just making room for it. Making room for it, right? And same thing
Mark
with Mark.
brings
He's like,
up,
it's go ahead.
well, Mark is also bringing up that the podcast, logos that we have are masks, the comedy and the tragedy mask. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the invitation for us in this conversation is, maybe this is the space you have to do some of that work. But if you don't, if this is not the space where you can do it, who are the people in your life that you trust, that you care about, that you really believe care about you? And maybe you have to be someone who goes first, where you say, "Hey, I met this dude from Oakland talking about these masks. Can we try this activity together?" And then you just do it together, right? You use me as an excuse, and then you take it from there, right? The idea of, and you don't have to use me as an excuse. Maybe you already have a relationship that you can just ask them to do different things, and they'll do it. But like, man, like why don't we talk about this stuff? Maybe we want to talk about it. We just don't want to burden each other. I'm going through stuff, you're going through stuff. We always talk about sports and weather and the good stuff in life. And we don't realize that we're both carrying these heavy loads that we could actually join together and support each other to carry.
It's a nice mechanism that makes it easier to have what should be a very regular conversation between men, in that way. And that's part of the reason why I like it, because it breaks down that natural awkwardness that men feel. I'm curious. Before I want to get into, I want to give these guys some tips for how they can bring this back to their clubs, because this could be a wonderful activity where they either do the printout or they provide it online for everyone. But either way, this could be a great thing for our guys to do in their local clubs or even on a regional level. So I want to get to how that could look to implement that. I am curious to know if anyone wants to share the mask that they created and submitted. Is anyone interested in that? Does anyone feel brave enough to do that here in this space that we have?
I'd have to take an art class first, I think. It's pretty nasty. It's
Well, I don't think it matters your necessary art form. This is about the honesty, the authenticity, right?
I mean, I'm fine showing it.
All right, Carl. Well, you have sharing capabilities, so if you want to share it with everyone, go right ahead.
I have no idea where it is now, actually. So
You can go to the gallery and locate it.
Are you
Click on it.
69?
I am 69. Thanks for
Okay,
asking.
well, I'm looking at it, I think. 69 from male from Columbus.
Well, post it there. It's so anonymous, right?
Uh,
I don't see the gallery. I mean,
let
I
me
see the
see.
gallery, but
If I can, if you want, if you don't mind, I'll share it. Let's see. If you can see that, then I think Carl's is the one in the middle.
wait, who drew that?
Is that it?
That's it?
Okay, well, thanks for sharing. Mine's the one next to it, but the words didn't come out.
Okay, so can I narrate? You want to narrate this, Carl? Or do you want me?
Go ahead, Rabbi.
So it looks like Carl projects a mask of confidence, brightness, of being bright. That's mine down there, and friendly. Um, and behind the mask is uncertain and overbooked. There wasn't a third. It was just.
There's probably about 10, but I'll let them know.
It's funny, Carl. You travel a lot, so this makes a lot of sense that like it feels like you're pulled in a lot of directions.
Yeah. And in mostly a good way.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. I feel for you. I really do.
Thank you.
And the uncertainty of that can also create a certain amount of anxiety, I think.
Right.
Yeah. What do you feel uncertain about? Do you mind if I ask?
Pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Other than when I'm on my bike in the middle of nowhere and just cutting through time and space, and
There you
it's
go.
it's it's the Zen thing. It's just you don't think it, you just kind of do it. But I mean,
Yeah.
everything from professional stuff to FJMC stuff to community stuff to volunteer work to shul stuff, uh,
So let me
relationship
ask, how
stuff.
many people here also feel overbooked or pulled in a lot of directions, right? Raise your hand if you do. I certainly do. I got a lot going on between kids and work and social life, right? And then there is uncertainty with that as well, like uncertainty about, what's going to come in the next couple months and wanting to have a better grasp of that. Yeah. Yeah. How many other people feel a sense of uncertainty about things and how maybe that's, so driving a sense of anxiety within them?
If
Yeah.
I can share for a second, mine is the one
Please.
next to it,
Thank
and
you,
the
Carl.
word.
Thank you, Carl, very much.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank
And
you.
the words didn't come out, but one of the back of the masks thing was mortality. When you get to a certain age, like 70, that's the kind of thing you think about too. It's like, how much time have I got left and what am I going to do with it? Right.
Bob, is this yours?
Yeah, the one on the left with
Yeah,
the
can you read
white.
the words since the color's a
I
little light?
Yeah, no, the words, oh, it's frustrating. Well, oh, now you can see the words. Okay, so the front is helpful, serious, and friendly, and the back is regrets, frustration, and mortality. Okay.
Mm,
I mean, when you look back at a certain age at your whole life, it's like, and you don't have forever left. I mean, it's easy when you're 40 to think, oh, I got all the time in the world to do everything. But when you're 70, not so much. So that's, the meaning of that. Um,
Thank you.
thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
and, I got validation on the busy part. If you see this, my daughter gave me this for my birthday last year. Is it showing the right way?
Yes, it is.
If
Was
anybody
that the
asks me
no
to do,
button?
yeah, if anybody asks me to do anything, I'm supposed to hit that. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Is there
Anyway,
anyone
should
else that wants to share their Mark, please? Yeah.
Oh, Mark, you're muted.
I'm unmuted. The 68-year-old guy from Florida. You can, Bob, you want to put that back up if you
Yeah,
There it is.
is it
see
in
it?
there? Yeah. So yeah, some of the same feelings that I saw from other people, overwhelmed sometimes, but sometimes I need to be less responsible. I think it's a and it's hard for me to be less responsible. I had this little thing my daughter gave me years ago. It's like a little rubber guy with a place to stab with your pen when you're at work. And I'm retired now, but I still keep it around. I yank and pull out and snap out with my pen from this little rubber guy. I don't know if you can tell on the screen. This little toy. Keep it on my desk, and I fiddle with it when I'm doing work and volunteer work. Because yeah,
You do a lot, Mark. This makes a lot of sense. This makes a lot of sense. You do a lot of work. What do you mean by a bit off balance?
um, well, I maybe I'm thinking wait a little bit with Bob. I recently lost my mom, and she was doing really good until she wasn't. She hurt her back, and all of a sudden, between the meds and the reactions to the meds and how it affected her eating and her standing and her whole life, just threw her so out of balance that 2 months later she was gone. And I don't want to be that. I want to stay in balance. And um, Rabbi, you were with me a little bit in this last weekend, and with Meir and John are also on this call, where we had the exercise guy, and he was talking about how important it is to exercise your body and keep your body in balance. And I think that helps. I give it a lot of thought to what he said at that event. So yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly right.
it's a little bit of my story. Yeah.
And I'd be wondering how many other guys have a little bit of grief that they're carrying around as well for some other loss that occurred, whether it's a loss of a loved one or a job or an ability of some kind. Um, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sorry for your loss. Thank you for sharing.
We have time maybe for one more share if someone else wants to share their contribution. Okay, so
Okay,
what I'd love to
stop.
do is
Stop.
what I'd love to do is just explore how, this can be implemented in your clubs, right? It's a very simple practice that Ashanti's got here. Can you still download the form from the website, Ashanti?
Yeah, if you go to everforwardclub.org, you'll be able to see the best place to find it right now would be, let me grab the link exactly so it makes it easier. We had a young men's conference last November, so it's in the toolkit. So I'll just put the link to the toolkit here. Let me see. And yeah, you can print them out or you can do it digitally like we all did just right now. So whichever method works, the toolkit is still available. So go to get involved and then you'll see, oh, I'm sorry, get involved. We'll go over one more. Go over one more. Yep. And then go to GYMC Partner Toolkit. That was the Global Young Men's Conference Toolkit. And then if you scroll, go down, and then you'll see download toolkit right there. So if you download that toolkit, it will give you the information for making the mask. It gives you the access to the materials. You see right there, go up. You, it's kind of fast. Download
Yeah.
mask card right there. So you can just go there, download that, and then you can print those out. That's the when we do it in person. We do the physical papers, but you also have the
Right.
digital. Yep.
Right, right. There you go. I'll put that in the chat for everyone as well, so you can take them right to it, and that'll help them get access to it. Shanti, I mean, we're all very grateful for you making this resource just freely available. And as you can see, everyone, it's really easy to facilitate. Probably just very simple to gather guys in your, whatever space that you have in person. If you need to do it over Zoom, do it over Zoom. Obviously, you see there's a digital component to that as well. But gather them in person, put some snacks together, maybe give them a little drink, and then say, this is an HMB opportunity like any other, but we've got a wonderful tool to help facilitate the conversation.
Yeah.
And then when you do, Ashanti, do you encourage them to like exchange it like you had the students in the documentary do it? Maybe not by throwing it at them, but by having someone else read the mask, or however, what do you think?
Yeah, the throwing was more opportunity for me to get their paper out of their hands
Right,
because I knew that if they held on to their words too long, they may destroy it. So when we threw them at each other, it was more mixing them up. So when they opened up another one, it was someone else's. So your group is not very playful like that, you can just put them in a pile on the middle of the floor and then have everybody go and grab one, or somebody can mix them up like dominoes, and then everyone
right.
go grab one, or somebody collects them all and then passes them back out randomly. I try and do it like a way just to make it as random as possible, but opportunity for just realizing that, wow, it's not just me. And then it gives everyone a chance to participate in that way. So we've done it so many different ways, but those are the
Okay.
ways I've done it if you have a smaller group, and or if you just did it one on one. I've done it with people at a cafe, and we just make them and then we just put them face down and we don't even look at them. And I'm like, what was that like? And then as they think about, without even having to look at it and talk about it, it's just like, what was that like? Because now they've put the words down, the words are out of their head, and now we can just talk about what that felt like to think about it, to come up with it. So yeah, whatever way the people you're going to be serving are going to feel the most present, but also is the goal is not to make anybody feel stressed or danger, or and we invite you, we would love you to share them with us. The phone number on that card is, you can text those, you can put them in a mailbox, whatever the easiest way for you. We have a long way to go to get to 1 million people served, but every one mask helps. So
Well,
um
I'm certainly hoping that, I mean, look, the goal is to train people to say, I can live without the mask, right? And how do I live without the mask in a way of presenting myself authentically, right? And how can I also engage with people to the point where they don't need a mask, right? How can I make myself a safe place so people can drop the mask and reveal who they are authentically as well? And I would think that would be, part of the exercise too, right? If guys are sharing with each other, you know, about what's going on in their lives, I would imagine they would each soften in a way that would be receptible, right? That would turn them into container to receive those the things that those men are sharing.
that's right.
Um, so I would hope that this is obviously an exercise that's meant to help people grow. So it's not just kept on paper.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Do we have time for maybe one or two questions? Does anyone have a question for Ashanti? Well, this has been really powerful. Ashanti, I can't thank you enough, my friend. You're always generous with your time and with your wisdom. You are a teacher for all of us, really. You have created something that is a real useful tool for men all over the world. And I certainly hope men all over the world take advantage of it. And you've certainly given us, a community of Jewish men, a much better tool for personal growth and spiritual connection with one another. So thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for the invitation. Thank you, men, for being here today. And I wish you stay in touch. I'm easy.
I'm going to remove the spotlight so everybody can like wave goodbye or whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Ashanti.
Thank
Thanks,
you, everyone.
Ashanti. That was great. Thank you.
God
Thank you,
bless.
man. Bless you all. Bless you all.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
All right. Good
Thank you.
night.
Thank you for having us.
And don't forget to check out Mama's Boys. Let me say this, our new episode with Edgar Carrot, episode 3, is dropping tomorrow, wherever you find your podcasts and on YouTube. So remember to check us out. Say Harleen to Marlene Sharp.
Marlene!
Hey, Marlene.
Hey, Marlene.
Hey, Marlene!
Hey, I'm
It's
a
Marlene.
soon to be renamed cast member of Mama's Boys.
That's right.
I'm the resident lady. And thank you, Noam, for introducing me and for having me on the show, this and the podcast. So it's nice to see all of your smiling faces, and please watch our podcast, YouTube, or wherever fine podcasts are broadcast.
That's right.
I thought
All
of you
right.
today. We were at the Jewish Digital Summit and they had Dana Bash on. I'm like, well, we had Jake Tapper. So
Yeah,
it's like,
We beat them.
All right, everyone.
Thank you.
It's great seeing you. Take care. Ashanti, always
Thank
a
you.
pleasure, brother.
Thank you.
Have fun,
Good night.
everyone.
very much.
Chag
Good night,
Purim
everyone.
Sameach. Remember to drop the mask and get to know people on an authentic level.
Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you much.
Bob, Lisa, that was wonderful. You both did great. Thank you.
That was incredible.
Work.
It was such an honor to be part of this and to meet you, Ashanti. Really, it's a blessing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
It was wonderful. Thank you.
Take
I'm
care,
going
everyone.
to do this experiment with my brother.
Good. And we'll do
Fantastic.
this
It's
again.
where
I think we should do this again coming up to next year's Purim celebration as well.
Yeah,
Awesome.
for
Yeah.
sure.
All right. Bye,
All right.
everyone.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.